Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. Today we are going to be trying out some new products that recently released at ULTA. Now some of these products are not brand new, but they are new to ULTA and I can't wait to try them. And while I review these new products at ULTA, the topic of the day is going to be what Medicare does not cover. So if you're excited to get started and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and let's get started right now. All right, so let me get my hair pinned back here. I actually got these hair clips at the dollar store and not gonna lie, I think they're really cute. So really quick, I just want to run through some of the products I picked up. So the first is this Revolution Pro Blur Stick Plus Skincare. So it's probably a little bit difficult to see on the camera, but when we get to this, I will read to you what is in it. Now Makeup Revolution London also came out with this new Super line. So this is the Super Base Eye Primer. Now I did actually try this primer out already and I found that it creased really bad, but I just wanted to mention this product because it was near this new blur stick. Now Essence has a new moisturizer from their Hello Good Stuff line, and this is called their Milky Face Moisturizer. Now one of the products I'm most excited for is from Makeup Revolution London. They have this new Line Fix Under Eye Primer Rehab product that is supposed to really help your under eyes and concealer go on flawlessly and last all day. Now next is the product I am probably most excited for other than that under eye primer. So this is the Black Girl Sunscreen, but the Make It Matte version. Now I have heard so many good things about this brand. So when I saw my Ulta recently started carrying this in their store, I was so excited. Now I did also pick up the new NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Mascara. Now I'm thinking I might do a completely separate video for this, so just wanted to mention to keep an eye out for this review. Of course there's going to be a few other products that I'm going to use today, but those are the main ones. So first I'd like to go in with moisturizer. I have a completely bare face. I just washed my face so nothing is on it. So once again, this is from Essence from their Hello Good Stuff line, and this is their Milky Face Moisturizer, which says it is calming and hydrating with turmeric. Now in the back it says that it is formulated without silicones, microplastic particles, mineral oils, parabens, and PEGs. What are PEGs? All right, let me shake this up. So it sounds a little bit liquidy. Yep. Did you see that? I just missed my hand and a huge gob fell on my brush. Okay, let me wipe that off. All right, so it does look almost like a serum. So it does have a light scent to it. It does smell almost like sweet vanilla oats. It's a very, very light scent, but it is there. This does feel very hydrating and it does not feel oily. Now, as someone who is in my mid-30s with oily, dehydrated, acne-prone skin, I must say I do like how this feels on my skin. I'm going to give that just a minute to sink in. All right, so now that this has had a chance to sink into the skin, I really do like the consistency of this moisturizer. It does feel like a serum. However, you know how some serums can almost feel oily on the skin? This is not like that. I feel like it sinks in really quickly and it doesn't really leave any residue on the skin. So I'm thinking if you have oily skin, this may be a great moisturizer you want to try. Now this is not a new product, but this is the Clinique Moisture Surge Facial Spray. So this is for thirsty skin relief. So as I said, it's not new, but I'm just going to give my skin a little squirt. I love spraying this on my skin, especially when I first get out of the shower. I wouldn't say I would recommend it as a setting spray, but as far as just needing a little bit of moisture on the skin, I do like this formula. All right, so next, I am so excited to try this out. As I mentioned, this is not a brand new release. However, my Ulta has never carried the Black Girl Sunscreen, and in particular, the Make It Matte version. I have heard so many good things about this sunscreen, so let's go in with this next. Now, I do just want to mention on the packaging, it is 45 broad spectrum SPF, ultra sheer and fragrance free, water resistant for 80 minutes. Now you do get 1.7 fluid ounces or 50 mils, which I do feel like that is a good amount of product. And on the back, it just says apply liberally 15 minutes before sun exposure, and of course reapply at least every 2 hours. Now, why this is supposed to be such a great product, in particular for oily skin, is because first off, it is a gel formula. Now, I can attest to this as someone with even oily, dehydrated skin. Gel formulas work amazing on my skin. Now, if I go in with oils at night, that's fine. But as far as during the day, oils don't really hydrate the skin. They kind of just sit on top. So I would agree that gel formulas do work best for at least my oily, dehydrated skin. All right, let me shake this up. All right, hopefully I don't miss my hand this time. Okay, yep, so it definitely looks like a gel formula. So I'm just going to work in sections and start with the forehead. Yeah, it doesn't feel super greasy, which I do find almost all sunscreens have that really greasy feeling, which I just despise as someone with oily skin. So I'm glad this is feeling really nice so far. Now it does smell like sunscreen, however the scent isn't overpowering. I do find that many sunscreens just smell really strong. This one's not too bad. All right, let me get the rest of the skin done. Don't forget the eyelids, guys, and underneath the eyes. This feels so silky. I was not expecting it to feel almost like a primer is how I would describe it. So it feels really nice. All right, I am going to give this about 5 minutes to sink into my skin. All right, I am hoping that MAC is now at your local Ulta, but I am just so beyond ecstatic. MAC is finally sold at Ulta, you guys, in the store. I know they used to sell some of their lipsticks on the website. However, as far as in-store, they have so many products. So if you're curious for me to do a review of any specific MAC products, let me know down below. So what I am holding is one of the iconic matte Pro Longwear paint pots in the shade Painterly. Now, if you guys watch my videos, you would know that the e.l.f. Putty Primers are actually my favorite eye primers because they control oils so well. So I'm really curious to try out this Painterly paint pot to see if it does as well. Okay, so I am dying right now, you guys. So I just opened up the e.l.f. Putty Primer and then the MAC Painterly paint pot. These colors look identical. I'm so excited that these each have a cool tone. So I pick up the shade Rose for e.l.f. and I'm so glad I chose the shade Painterly. This looks like it's going to be a great cool tone match. So I'm just going to use an e.l.f. brush from the Mint Melt collection and dip in. So I'm laughing because this looks almost identical to the Rose shade from e.l.f. I guess I never realized how close in consistency and shade these were. I thought they were going to be a completely different formula, but anyways, let's get Painterly on the lids while we give that sunscreen a few minutes to sink in. Wow, that shade match. I have no eye primer on this side. I mean, talk about the perfect shade. It's great. So my daughter didn't have school on Monday, and then she actually had another snow day today. We've actually had quite a few snow days in Michigan so far, and I keep seeing some of my other friends that live in, Texas, California, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're getting a cold front. It's only 55 degrees. It's so cold. I'm like, girl, it was -5 the other day. I couldn't get my garage open because it was frozen shut. All right, so now that it has been about 10 minutes since I applied the Make It Matte sunscreen, let me just feel my skin. This is so strange, you guys. So it does feel matte now, but the one thing I'm really loving about the consistency of this sunscreen, it made my skin feel like silk without any of the grease or that oily residue. So it's really strange because I would agree that it is a matte finish. I do feel like it dried down, but I feel like my skin looks really healthy, and it's not like a sunscreen that sucks the oils and the life out of your skin, because I'm not a fan of that either since I do have dehydration. So far I am blown away. I feel like this might actually make a great primer, not for filling in the pores or anything like that, but just for a smooth canvas, I'm a fan of this so far. Okay, so I am probably going to be doing an updated base video for a flawless foundation base. I say flawless in quotes because I feel like no one really has flawless skin, but as flawless as you can get. But anyways, I think I'm going to do an updated foundation prep video because I'm finding that I really like this sunscreen. So if this ends up being a good addition, I might add that in my routine. All right, so next let's get into this new Revolution Line Fix Under Eye Primer Rehab. This is supposed to be great for helping the concealer last all day. So let's see if it actually makes a difference. So I'm a big fan of the packaging. It is I think it's acrylic if I'm not mistaken. It might be plastic, but overall I just feel like it looks really sleek. So I am a fan of that. Okay, so it looks almost like a putty formula, but I just dipped my finger in it and it actually feels very creamy. I was expecting it to almost feel like the e.l.f. Putty Primer. This is much more thick and dense in consistency. This feels very creamy. So I'm just gonna swatch this on the back of my hand. So I just swatched it right here. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but it does feel smoothing. And it does appear to have some skin blurring properties. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell a difference from this area to over here. All right, let's get the under eyes prepped. So I'm just going to use my ring finger. I just picked up a little bit on this finger. So I'm just going to lightly dab and blend this in. Yeah, it feels very, very lightweight. I guess I was expecting it to have a thicker consistency. It doesn't. It almost just feels like a moisturizer with just a little bit more of a pull to it. Now I do want to apply this to both eyes today, you guys, because I'm pretty familiar with how my eyes crease throughout the day. So I'll be able to tell you if I notice a difference or not. Oh my gosh, can you guys hear the roof right now? I'm not sure if it's freezing rain or hail, but it is so loud right now. I'm really hoping you guys aren't going to be able to hear it. So as of now, I'm a little bit skeptical of this product, more because it just felt like I applied almost like a regular smoothing or blurring primer or even a moisturizer. So I feel like it's just going to sink right into my skin, but I don't know yet. I just applied it. So let's see how this does throughout the day. All right, so now that the under eyes have been prepped, next let's move on to the rest of the skin. I do just want to quickly note that I do feel like this Make It Matte sunscreen has finally dried down to a matte finish. I feel like even a couple of minutes ago, my skin was still looking pretty dewy. So if you do end up picking up this new sunscreen, I would recommend giving it at least 15 minutes to sink into the skin, especially if you are going to go in with other primers or makeup in general. Because if you look now, I feel like it is finally dried down. It still feels like I have a nice healthy glow, but it just looks a little bit more matte than it did a few minutes ago. Can you guys tell a difference that it just looks a little bit more matte now than it did before? All right, so this Revolution Pro Blur Stick Plus, on the back of the packaging, it says it is lightweight and breathable, a pore blurring primer, infused with vitamins B5, C, and E, to help give the appearance of smooth and healthy looking skin. And this little tab on the top here says it has an enriching watermelon aroma. So let's open this up. So this is what it looks like. You guys, if this ends up being a good primer, the amount of product you get in here is insane. I feel like this is huge. So just for a comparison, this is the full-size version, not a mini, of the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. I mean, look at the difference here. It does have a watermelon scent. I wouldn't say it's an overpowering scent. You really have to, you know, kind of get close to smell it. When I opened the cap, I didn't smell it right away, but I did just want to mention that I would agree it does have a watermelon scent for those of you that are sensitive to fragrance. So let me swatch this on the back of my hand to see if you can even see it. Yeah, it doesn't really have a shade to it. I was expecting it to almost look this color, but I just did a really big swatch right here, and I don't think you can really see it. Oh, that feels nice. Yeah, that feels like very smoothing. All right, I just zoomed you guys in a little bit closer. That way you can see what my pores are looking like with just the sunscreen and moisturizer. So I have pretty big pores everywhere really, but in particular my nose and then this area and my chin, so pretty much my T-zone. All right, so I am just going to pick up some on my finger here. So I'm just kind of pressing this in as well. All right, I'm gonna pick up more. So you really only get a tiny bit of product when you go like this. So that's why I'm dipping in so many times. So I'm just going to kind of press this into my pores. Now I do find if you almost do an upwards motion, that kind of helps the pores fill in a little bit better. I used to always go down, and someone pointed that out to me one day, that you should really go up. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You learn something new every day in makeup. All right, I am all about testing out different types of application methods. So I feel like because I was using my finger, and even when I went in with just the stick, I feel like I really wasn't picking up that much product in comparison to a primer that you can squeeze out. So I'm going to take my e.l.f. Putty Primer Applicator brush, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit on the brush here. And let's see if a brush application method works better for this primer. Okay, immediately I like this side better. I feel like the brush picks up more product, and I was really able to buff it into the skin. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and just pick up a little bit more product. So yeah, you don't need to scoop it out like I just did a minute ago. I wasn't sure how much it would pick up. So let's do the same thing to the T-zone on this side. I'm telling you what, I love this putty applicator brush from e.l.f. because it's dense, but it's not extremely dense. It's just the right amount of density. Oh yeah, this is making a huge difference with this application method. All right, so I did not really notice a difference when I just went in with my finger like this. So I think because this product is a little bit, you know, it's a solid, so it needs something more to adhere to. So if you're going to test out this primer, I highly recommend using a brush just like this. Now, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but I'm definitely seeing some pore blurring qualities now. Before, when I just used my finger, I really couldn't see a difference, but what do you guys think? Can you see my pores as much as before, or do you think it is doing its job and filling in the pores? So I will say, I don't think this stick is matte in finish, so I'm thinking multiple different skin types would like this if you are looking for a primer to fill in your pores. Just taking a look at how my skin looks right now, I 100% notice a difference on my pores, especially on my forehead, well, really everywhere, I guess, but you guys are gonna have to let me know what you think down below. All right, you guys, so I just quickly threw on a little bit of eyeshadow and mascara. So once again, I have the under eye primer and the Revolution primer on the skin. So next, let's move on to foundation. So as far as foundation, I want to go in with one of my new favorite foundations. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage that, yes, is now also sold at Ulta. And I use the shade 16B, which is Fair Light Beige. So I'm going to squirt out one pump on the back of my hand here. Now I am really excited to see what this foundation looks like over the primer and then for concealer as well. I just love how this foundation sits on the skin. Even though it is a more matte finish, I don't find it looks drying or anything like that. It just looks like a nice velvety natural matte finish. Now next I want to go in with one of my favorite concealers of all time. This is the new NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. I reviewed this concealer as well, so I will pop that video right up here for you guys if you're curious. But I just have to say, even though this is a more affordable option, I feel like this is one of the most beautiful concealers I've ever used. I know you guys are probably sick of me raving about it, but I just love it so much. So I just wanted to swatch these, that way you guys can see the undertones. So this more messy swatch is what's left over from the Tarte foundation in 16B. This is the NYX concealer in the shade Light, and this is the NYX concealer in the shade Fair. I'm going to pick up just a little bit on my brush. This shade does not appear to be cool tone, but I think I'll be able to make it work. Alright you guys, so overall I think the skin looks great with both the under eye primer and the new Revolution primer. As I said, I don't really think my under eyes look any better than they typically do, but I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup and see you back in just a minute. Okay you guys, so I just finished up the rest of my makeup, and I do have to say, first off, I am not a fan as of now of this under eye primer. So today, as you know, I went in with the NYX Serum Concealer. That is one of my favorite concealers. I've been using it almost every day, and I feel like once I set with powder, it immediately gripped. I don't know if you can tell, but right here it just looks a little bit patchy and cakey, and I know it is from this because I can just tell the difference. However, as far as this primer, I feel like the skin is looking great everywhere except for where I put this. So what do you guys think about how the rest of the skin is looking now that the rest of my makeup is done? Alright, I will see you guys in just a moment for the topic of the day, and then I will meet you back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts and a wear test. Hi everybody, welcome to the topic of the day. So if you are not 65 yet, hopefully we all will be at one point someday. So for today, I wanted to go over what are 3 things that Medicare does not cover that many people believe do. So first off, I do have to clarify that today we are talking about Original Medicare. Original Medicare includes Part A and Part B only. So the first thing that Original Medicare does not cover is prescriptions. I was actually pretty shocked to learn this when I first entered the Medicare insurance world, but yes, Part A and Part B of Medicare do not cover prescriptions that are filled at a pharmacy. Now, if you go to the doctor or hospital and have a prescription such as an injection or something the doctor does right in the office or right in the hospital, then typically that prescription does fall under Part B, hence you would have coverage. But as far as a prescription you need filled at a pharmacy, Part A and B of Medicare do not cover this. The second thing that Original Medicare does not cover is vision coverage. So just for an example, let's say you need to go to the eye doctor, you need to have your eyes checked, and perhaps you need new glasses. Original Medicare does not cover vision coverage. Now, the only exception to this is typically cataracts. So if you do need cataract surgery, then typically this is covered. However, I do recommend reaching out to your own insurance agent or Medicare insurance if you have questions regarding this topic. And the third thing that Original Medicare does not cover is dental. For whatever reason, it really bums me out in the United States, not even just with Medicare, but with any insurance in general. So often, dental and vision is seen as something extra you need covered. It is typically not included altogether. So if you do need prescriptions filled at a pharmacy or dental or vision coverage, then it may make sense to look into an option that does cover these things if you have Original Medicare, which again is Part A and Part B only. Alright, well I do hope learning the 3 things that Medicare does not cover was helpful for you. I will meet you guys back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts and a wear test. Bye! Hi everybody, I just got home from work and it has been a full 12-hour day. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit tired. I'm sure my eyes are looking a little bit heavy now, but I have some great news to report. So first of all, take a look at how my skin is looking now that it is the end of the night. So of course I have oily skin and I do feel like some of my oils have started to come through. However, I don't feel like I look excessively oily. I feel like I have a nice healthy glow, and overall I'd say the skin looks great. So this Essence Moisturizer, if you have oily skin and you do not like any sort of a residue left once you apply moisturizer, I think this is going to be a great one for you. Now, as far as this Revolution Under Eye Rehab Primer, I'm just not a fan of it. I don't think it really did anything for the longevity of the concealer, and in fact, I don't really like how my under eyes are looking. I feel like the powder that I applied, which was very minimal, it really adhered to the product. So I would say if you were considering picking up this under eye primer, for me, I'd say go ahead and save your money. Okay, so this Make It Matte sunscreen, It exceeded my expectations and more. So I find a lot of products that are geared for oily skin can really dry out the skin. But fortunately, I found that this product did the exact opposite. I feel like it provided a nice, healthy glow at first, and although it did dry down to a matte finish after about 15 minutes or so, it just gives the skin such a nice, healthy base. I would be more than comfortable just going in with this sunscreen as a primer, not so much for filling in the pores, just overall though for how the skin looks. I feel like it did a great job. It helped control my oils a little bit, so I am a huge fan of that Make It Matte sunscreen. Now, in addition, this Revolution Pro Blur Stick, I am a huge fan of this also. So what's interesting is most blur sticks for primers lean incredibly matte and can kind of pill on the skin or dry the skin out. I did not find it did that, and I went in with a pretty decent amount once I used the e.l.f. Putty Applicator Brush. So if you are going to try out this primer, I would recommend going in with a dense brush like this one. That way you can pick enough product and really buff it into the skin. So I do think the combination of these two products work really well together. I am so excited to be testing out these two products even more. So overall, I would say that this haul was pretty successful. There was only one product that I just wasn't a fan of course, the Revolution Under Eye Primer. But as far as everything else, I think I'm going to be adding this to my everyday routine. So now I want to hear from you guys down below. Have you picked up any of these products? If you did, what was your experience? Did you like it? Did you not? What was your skin type? Let us know all of your thoughts down below. All right, well, I just want to thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.